We're delving deeper into a report tonight that 7 investigators from the CDC who were sent by the government to look into health risks in East Palestine say they fell sick themselves. About half of that team reporting sore throats, headaches, coughing, and nausea after conducting house-to-house surveys in a neighborhood near where the train derailed. The same symptoms residents on the ground said that they had. Now, this while government bodies continued to insist at that time the soil, air, and drinking water were all safe. Purdue University also had a team there conducting independent testing on the ground, and one of the researchers said that he too got sick while visiting the town. He is now calling for more government transparency. And we want to bring him in now. Andrew Whelton, professor of civil, environmental, and ecological engineering at Purdue. Andrew, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So about half of this group of investigators from the CDC got sick. This was as the EPA was insisting everything was safe. What do you make of this?
Well, there's a number of other people that also got sick that visited the area, and clearly the EPA's air testing data was not accurately identifying the health risks. So I hope that many of these individuals that did get sick were able to recover, but it's just reaffirmed that the air testing data was not adequate in February.
Can you tell us about being on the ground in East Palestine? What did you start noticing was happening inside of your own body, and what was going through your mind as it was happening?
Well, when we were in East Palestine initially in February conducting water sampling of the creeks, we didn't really experience anything except shock that there was so much contamination visible still in the creeks, and folks weren't being told to stay away from it or the health risks associated with it. I didn't start feeling a headache until we were about to leave. And then for the next 2 days, it was just constant. It got worse the next day and then went away the day after. So that was kind of shocking, disconcerting, because I was not dehydrated. I was not, there was no anxiety associated with it. It was just trying to figure out what was going on.
You recently tweeted about a Freedom of Information request that you submitted, and you are calling for more transparency in light of this report of the 6 CDC investigators. What do you want the government to be more transparent about?
Well, the fact that we were not told that CDC investigators got sick is a real issue. And the government agencies that are responding to this disaster need to be more transparent, share the information that they have with the people. Because for over a month, people were complaining that they were getting sick, and government air testing results kept saying that the air is safe, water is safe, so therefore, you're not getting sick. So I think there really needs to be an alignment of government investigators getting data to answer very specific questions, which they are starting to do now.
And the spotlight is fading on East Palestine. I know you found inconsistencies in the federal government air and water test results in Ohio. What do you fear residents there are still facing, and what concerns you about their future now?
Well, we've stayed involved because it does seem that agencies were not responsive to the people's questions and asking specific answers. I can say we have asked the agencies to provide us their water sampling plans so that we can look to see how our data stack up against theirs. Our data are not matching what they are reporting publicly online. And so really there needs to be some type of independence here, some type of independent oversight and influence and questioning about what they're doing so that the response can directly serve the people impacted.
I mean, you mentioned the discrepancy. Is your data showing higher levels than the government is reporting?
So our data is sometimes showing higher levels and sometimes showing lower levels. And that could be due to simply where we're taking the sample, how we're taking the sample, or it could be due to something else. So what we want is access to the information that agencies are using to determine that their data is adequate.
If the government's own investigators are getting sick, and meanwhile the EPA, a government body, is saying everything is safe, what does that mean? Can you break it down for us? Does that mean the EPA is lying? Does it mean that the EPA's testing methods are not rigorous enough, or they're not testing for the right things? What is actually happening here?
So in March is when the CDC team got sick. So that was several weeks ago. But really what that meant was that the EPA's air testing data did not accurately identify what contaminants were in the air and the health risks that they posed to a number of people, not just the CDC team. This isn't that uncommon after disasters, unfortunately, because generally questions that need to be answered sometimes aren't answered. And then when things like this pop up, you don't see a rapid response team go to try to figure out what's going on. That's what should happen, but generally you don't see that.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.